Welcome back, everyone. I'm Setharoth, and today we are diving into the lightning spells for the Arcanum Destruction mod. Well, Arcanum mod, destruction spells, lightning types. Gonna be lots of fun, lots of electrocutions, and without further ado, let's dive on in. Our first spell we're gonna be looking at is called Atomize. Atomize reduces the target's shock resistance by 150% for 30 seconds. Being struck by a shock spell increases the target's shock resistance by 50% for 10 seconds. So technically, at the end of the day, this will lower their resistance by 100% after they get hit by a frost spell. This may look really weird, but bear with me because some of these spells that Arcanum uses are meant to work in concert, like a spell that heals the enemy and then a spell that basically detonates that healing to do extra damage. So we're going to pay attention, and over this video we're going to watch for other shock spells that capitalize on enemies having shock resistance. So that's the only reason I can think of why you would want to give your enemy shock resistance in the first place. So we're going to apply that debuff through Atomize, and then I think we're going to hit him with Distortion Flux. This one, this small font is just so much fun to roll through. Magnetize the target for 20 seconds, dealing 7 shock damage to health and half as much to Magicka per second. While active, every third shock spell against the target deals 12% of their current health as bonus shock damage. You know what? Let's see if we can't use a different option here. It looks like both of these spells are designed to hit the enemy with passives, and then you capitalize on them with additional hits. So we're actually going to do these one at a time. So we're going to start with Atomize, which is going to give them increase their or decrease their shock resistance, and then we're going to hit them with chain lightning so that we can get some damage in, right? And then we're going to use Destruction Flux in the same way. All right, Atomize, I assume that's ranged. Yes, it is. Perfect. Okay, where's the bad guy? Where's the bad guy? Feed me, bad guy. All right, Atomize, and oh yeah, that's plenty of damage. All right, so the important thing to note with Atomize, it looks awesome, but it doesn't do a lick of damage. It didn't hurt that guy at all when I hit him with Atomize. It's the only master spell I've seen that doesn't actually do damage. It's a destruction master level spell that doesn't do damage. Who thought of this? Alright, so next we're going to try out Distortion Flux. This one also is a debuff, right? So you magnetize the target for 20 seconds. Every third shock spell against the target does extra damage based on their current health. So given that I was using Chain Lightning, let's go ahead and dial that back to... Do I have a regular like Lightning Bolt spell? No, of course not. Why would I have that? I'm doing a demo of all Arcanum stuff. We're just stay with Chain Lightning. Sorry, Mr. Horse. Just alright, so there's your... Oh, that horse is tougher than I expected. Oh, and there's that extra damage. Oh, the horse was just tough enough to show off the extra damage that you get from that third hit. That worked out quite nicely. Alrighty, so let's see. So we're stacking on Distortion Flux, which is single target range debuff with Chain Lightning, because I remember if I go for this chest, I'll trigger another bandit attack. So let's take another look at this. So the idea here is it only lasts for 20 seconds. So it's a fairly narrow window to get in your 3 spells that will trigger that extra damage. But we're going to give that a shot anyway. Who do we got here? Oh, nope, that's a miss. And that's a hit. 1, 2. They're not living long enough to get for the debuff to work. Oh, here we go. This will work. There's that extra damage. Oh, you're toughy. Tough one. Goodbye. Oh, that was funny. For a second there, I thought all this extra frost stuff was me. I was like, wait, this isn't the frost demo. What's going on here? Alright, so I will point out, this Distortion Flux works pretty good for doing extra damage every third hit. So this is a decent debuff. However, it is a single target debuff, so keep that in mind. Unlike a lot of the frost spells that we saw in the previous video, this didn't carpet bomb everyone with a debuff. This is a single debuff to a single target. It does do damage, but particularly on that third hit is when it really kicks in. So you want to keep that in mind. The next spell we want to look at is called Electrolyze, which charges the target for 20 seconds. Whenever it's hit with another shock spell, the target takes between 3 and 32 shock damage over 3 seconds based on your destruction level. This is an interesting one because it's a novice level spell, but is designed to do more damage the higher level you are, which is a really original approach. I think there's a couple of mods where the spells actually do more damage the higher level you are, specifically like in the spell description rather than just being based off of your destruction skill, but I can't remember off the top of my head which ones those are. So if you're aware of those mods, feel free to drop them in the comments for everyone else to enjoy. We're going to be using Electrolyze in concert with Eyes of Kyne. Concentrate to summon a magic sigil at your location for as long as you're concentrating. Each sigil discharges a stream of lightning, dealing 91 shock damage per second in the direction you're facing. Okay, well, actually this works out really good. So Electrolyze will be our debuff. Whenever they're hit with a nether shock spell, not Electrolyze, they take 3 to 32 additional shock damage. Alright, so the idea is to slam them with the debuff, and then we're going to bring the pain with Eyes of Kyne. Alright, let her rip. We've got our Electrolyze debuff, which is very precise. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we got a hit. And let's see if we can get a second one. Nope. Okay. And then this, oh, hello. Oh. I'm supposed to shoot where I'm facing. Oh, this thing doesn't smart cast. Okay, this is... Oh, it's a single target. That's good to know. That is very precise, too. That's gonna bug me. Signet of Ruin added. I don't even know what that is. This is very weird to me. Huh. Signet of Ruin added. Is that an item that I'm getting out of this? No. Is this a buff? Must be some kind of a buff. A little confused at this point. No. Okay. So I am not entirely sure why this... It's supposed to do damage in the direction you're facing, but apparently it doesn't. It's a single target. So the direction I'm facing right when I cast is where it shoots, but it doesn't change direction if I change direction. And then we have Electrolyze. You know, I guess we're going to have to use Electrolyze with Chain Lightning instead. At least get rid of this distracting character right here. Goodbye, sir. Thank you. Alright, so we've seen Electrolyze work well, because you latch on the debuff, and then you hit him a couple of times, you get extra damage. Booyah. Eyes of Kyne, though, I'm trying to figure out if I'm missing something here. Expert level spell. Concentrate to summon a magic sigil at your location, for as long as you're concentrating. Each sigil discharges a stream of lightning, dealing 91 shock damage per second in the direction you are facing. So maybe we have to concentrate on it for a longer period of time. Because I can see 3 sigils around my character. Oh, okay, so it looks like... That's different. So I guess this first blast that you see is just like the basic targeting, because you noticed it wasn't doing damage earlier, like, at all. I was leading guys into it and it wasn't hurting them. But if you hold it and keep it charged and keep it aimed, it set off a second blast, but maybe it's not going to do that because I don't have another victim here. Alright, let's run on to the next batch of bad guys and give that another look. Because it's an expert level spell, so it should be pretty awesome. You just got to use it in the right context. Maybe we'll try it on some mud crabs. I don't want to waste my few bandits on something we've already tested, but there's some mud crabs, so let's have a look here. Did I get him? How about this one over here? I see one moving over here. No. Okay, so I guess it's just that single shot, but the longer you hold it, it'll charge up another blast. But this one is touchy. Like, I've seen guys run almost right through this blast without taking any damage. So I would advise caution with this particular spell. Man, that mud crab is not even phased. Let me see if I can get a good aim on him. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so that time it killed him. Okay, it's just very precise. Alright, I was confused there for a sec. Think of this... I know the graphics on this look like it's one giant swath of destruction, but it's actually very, very precise. Think of it more like a sniping weapon. See, he literally dodged it by just getting out of the way. and that time he did not. So right between your crosshairs is exactly where this spell will hit. If they're outside of those crosshairs, even if they're running right next to it, they won't take any damage. So keep in mind that this Eyes of Kyne is actually very precise. It's more precise than I realized, so that's just good to keep in mind. Next we have Induced Charge, a spark that deals 21 points of shock damage to the target. If that target is under the effect of another shock spell, summon a wall of lightning under the target. Okay, so this is definitely meant to be used in concert with another shock spell to do extra damage. And you remember how much damage the wall of lightning does. That's like 50 damage per round. It's really nice. Then we have Lightning Tether. Tethers you to a target with electricity, dealing 36 shock damage per second and half as much for up to 7 seconds. Oh, as long as you're within 20 feet. Okay, so this one you'll probably, if you're a pure mage and you have no armor, you'll probably want to use this in conjunction with Unrelenting Force so that you can knock them down and then stay within the distance that this spell does damage without actually, you know, getting yourself killed. But we're going to run it in God mode just because we're dinking around and trying out new spells and seeing what they're like in semi-real environments. So we're going to hit them with Induced Charge first, because that applies the debuff, so that if they're hit by another shock spell, it summons a wall of lightning, and then we'll hit them with Lightning Tether. Okay, it's the 1-2 combo, the left-right, jab cross. Hello, my unwilling participants. Alright, so that's been tagged, and there's my second frost spell. Alright, then we've got our Lightning Tether. Do I just hit them both? There's the tether. Okay, so the tether is also very... Oh, there's the tether. Okay, so you got to stay within 20 feet for that tether to keep doing its thing. And then this is the novice one. And tag him for damage. I'm trying to figure out if it's... if that target is under the effect. Oh, okay, so I had the order of... I got confused. You want to hit them with an overtime debuff first and then use Induced Charge. Okay, I was mistaken. So let's hit him with Distortion Flux first, because that does stacking damage, and then we'll do Induced Charge. So that should get the wall of lightning effect under them that we were looking for earlier. I think we're still doing, yeah, we're still doing the left-right combo. So that should be good. And we've got wall of, we have Unrelenting Force, so we should be able to clear the room as needed. Goodbye! Oh, yes, perfect. Attack and tap. There we go. And there's that wall of lightning right there. Perfect. Oh, this is... yeah, this is the way you take out mages. Oh, nice. This is like a... I was going to say it's a Storm War, but I guess when you're out of Magicka, all you have left is a little puny dagger, and that's pretty much it. And at this point, I'm not even 1-2 punching. I'm just like double casting left, right, left, right, left, right. But as you can see... so my spell in my left hand was applying a debuff, and then every third attack did extra shock damage. And then my right was capitalizing on that to not only do damage, but to set the ground beneath them on electric fire, which worked out really, really well. I gotta say, I rather like that. So the nice thing about that combo is this Induced Charge that does damage when they're under some kind of electric effect as a novice level spell, right? You can, right out the gate, as long as you have something that does, that's kind of a debuff of some kind, for example, Electrolyze, which is also a novice spell, there you go. You can actually stack Electrolyze and Induced Charge from level 1, right? You can go in as a novice and use these two spells. I'll show you. So even, you know, level 1 with Arcanum, you can grab these two shock spells and just go to town. Just stack them on top of each other. See, there's right there. There's your wall of lightning, which is oh, here we go. And then you shout them back into the wall of lightning, which you recast when you hit them with your other spells. Oh, that is possible at a novice level. A novice level Storm Mage can do that. Well, except for, you know, the shout. Obviously, you've got to go through a little bit of the main quest line before you can get that dragon shout. But any other way to keep them locked down so that you can keep them on the ground that is scorching with electricity is preferable. Alrighty. Alright, so let's see what we got next. We just did Lightning Tether, so that one was pretty straightforward. You hit them, you get damage over time as long as you stay within 20 feet, which is tricky unless you're using like a shockwave of some kind to keep their distance, or frost magic to hold them in place. Keep in mind, just because I'm demoing these spells in different groups doesn't mean you can't combine these. You can totally combine like the glacial ray or here you would combine the gelid gale, which slows down everything in the huge vicinity, and you could combine that with one of these bigger lightning spells like the Eyes of Kyne. Once they're slow, you can wail on them. You can do all sorts of combinations with these spells because they're meant to work in concert. For example, if you remember, Chaos Fireball actually slows down victims. So if you were to combine that with Glacial Ray, which also slows down victims, you can use fire and ice to slow them down even more than if you were doing just a pure mage build. So just some fun ideas to tinker with in the future. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and have a look at, okay, so it looks like both of these spells are actually two-handed. So let's go find ourselves some big mammoths to play with. And then we'll try out the next two spells. Oh, good, they're right over here. Perfect. Alright, so the first spell we're going to look at is an adept spell called Overload. Let's have a look at you. Your shock spells deal 50% bonus damage, but they cost 50% more for 20 seconds. Okay, so this is a spell... You want to be careful how you use this, because this will gobble up your Magicka like there's no tomorrow. On the other hand, your damage will be through the roof. So you want to be careful where you use this, or maybe if you have a crap ton of Magicka potions, or your frost magic cost is so low, your destruction magic cost is so low that you can just chew through this without any problem. But I would be careful how I would use this, because you could potentially lock yourself in a position where you burn out your Magicka super fast. But we're going to combine that, so we should get 50% extra damage to whatever shock spell we use on top of that, and we're going to use Thunderbreak. This blast deals 247 damage plus 15% of the target's current health as shock damage in a 7-foot area. So I assume this is centered around yourself with a very small range. Thunderbreak already costs 40% of your max Magicka. If you have less, it costs 40% of your max Magicka. Okay, so this should be... Alright, we're going to duel this thing and see what happens. Oh, that was funny. The camera glitched, and for a second I thought I blasted it out of existence. Oh, that is fun. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm using these two spells. I'm dual wielding that. So I dual-wielded Thunderbreak, which is meant to do maximum damage at melee range. But I stacked it with Overload that adds in another 50% damage. And since I'm in God mode, you couldn't really see the difference in Magicka cost. But you know what? I should probably, just to give you guys a realistic view of what that was like, let me switch out of God mode to show you. Okay, so out of God mode, here's our Overload. And then with one hand, we're going to use Thunderbreak and see what kind of Magicka cost we're looking at for just one casting of Thunderbreak under the effect of Overload. Okay, so that's almost half your Magicka right there. It does a crap ton of damage, but at the same time, that's not bad. Wait, is this thing ranged? Oh, my mistake. My mistake with a capital M. Oh, okay. Wow, I was making this so much more complicated. Wow, why'd I get hurt? Holy crap, wait. What? Let me go back. Oh, geez. Oh, my mistake. I misread the last line of Thunderbreak. It costs 40% of your maximum Magicka. If you have less than that, it costs 40% of your maximum health. Oh, that is different. Oh, that is interesting. We haven't done restoration spells yet, but there are restoration spells that activate when you lose health for extra effects. So you can actually stack them with this to do extra things. And you'll see that on another demo. But I love the idea of building a spell that not only absorbs your Magicka, but at the same time can be channeled by health if you're in a panic, right? But obviously there's a huge risk there because you could get yourself killed So fast. Can I survive one more hep? Ooh, yeah, okay. We're not gonna risk that again, but oh, that is an interesting. It does so much damage, but at the same time, so remember when I was using Overload, I increased the cost, right? So you stack that on Thunderbreak, and I actually hurt myself for more than I originally would have. Oh, yeah, I technically would have gotten myself killed. Oh, that is funny. All right, let's switch back into God mode before I accidentally kill myself. Oh, good. All right, so I'm glad I got myself out of God mode for that, because that would have been an important thing for you guys to know before you start spamming that spell like there's no tomorrow. Oh, I can already see the comments. I used this spell and I died. It's like, I'm sorry. Why weren't you in God mode? All right, so that was fun. All right, let's see. Is there anything else here? I feel like there was a couple others. Yes, okay, so we have Twisting Tempest. That's a master spell. We're saving that for last. And then we have Unstable Current. This is an apprentice one. So you can get this like right at the get-go, basically. A Stream of Lightning that does 27 points of shock damage to health and magicka per second and bounces between enemies for 10 seconds. Oh, it's a poor man's Chain Lightning. I like it. I like it. Poor man's Chain Lightning. And then we have Twisting Tempest. Of course. Of course they're going to give me this super small font. All right. Summons a tornado in a 40-foot area for 30 seconds that reduces shock resistance by 20% and drags units caught in it towards the center. Units in the storm have a 60% chance to be shocked for 60 damage plus 6% of their current health as shock damage when they're hit by another shock spell. So again, this is meant to be used in concert with another shock spell. And you know what? I see a couple more mammoths. I mean, if you're big enough to be used as the lightning rod and you already have two really awkward long tusks sticking out, it just fits, right? Okay, let me make sure I've got... Okay, so left hand is Unstable Current. So we're going to start with the tornado. That applies the vulnerability, right? It puts them in the tornado, and then you get extra damage for every additional shock. Oh, it's a concentration, too. Nice. All right, come on, boys. Come get me. Come get me. I want to see how many of them I can suck into the tornado. Let's see if we can get some more coming in. Any more volunteers here? Yes. Oh, there you go. Yep, and then you can use the poor man's Chain Lightning, and you proc that extra lightning attack from the tornado. Oh, this is double tornadoes. Oh wait, this changes everything. I've got to see how many of these we can get going. Tornado number 1. Master spell takes a while to charge. Tornado number 2. Okay, screw being Thor. I'm freaking Storm from the X-Men right now. Holy crap. You can have multiples. Look at this. Look at this. I've got 4 of these at once. Oh, this is beautiful. And then you can use your Chain Lightning to jump from tornado to tornado. Oh my. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, someone made a mod to turn this into the frickin' X-Men. Oh, I love it. That is so cool. And they just keep getting sucked in. So I think the most I've been able to do at one time is 4, right? So we're gonna try and spam this out a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Holy crap! I counted 6 at one point. Can I get out 7 before these wear off? Oh, that is beautiful. It's a stacking monster. Okay, I might have to rethink some of these master spells that I've been spitting out all willy-nilly. Give me a sec. Okay, so does that mean that, like, Sol Invictus, the flame spell? How many of these? Oh, come on. Master spells always take a little bit longer. Oh, I have been totally doing these demos wrong. I admit it. I admit it. I have screwed up. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, wow, my mistake. Just listen to that raw power. Okay, wow, I have been not doing these spells justice. Wait, does Frost have one? No, no, no. Okay, so the one thing with Soul of Winter is it's based around you and stacks. So I know I wasn't getting that one wrong. I guess Whiteout then could technically... I mean, this one... Yes, it can. Okay, alright. Keep this in mind for your future Arcanum spell craziness. You can spam these bad boys. I could wipe out an entire crop. Holy crap. Well, that's just beautiful. Okay, alright. I have been humbled by my own incompetence. I should have realized what you can do when you stack these things. That is beautiful. Ah, okay. Alright, last but not least, let me see here. I think I've already killed everything. Lovely. There was a couple more spells that I wanted to show you guys because, alright, we're going to disable all of the electric ones just because it's going to make it easier for the last of these Arcanum destruction spells to be visible. Some of these Arcanum spells are actually, they don't do damage. Or not elemental damage. They do raw damage, right? So we have Caster's Sigil, for example. This is a buff. For 25 seconds, a bolt of magical energy is launched whenever you cast a spell, dealing 9 additional elemental damage. So we're going to stack that with Magicka Dart, which is a blast of raw energy that deals damage, plus your current Magicka. I don't think it consumes that Magicka. It's just doing damage based on your current Magicka. You know what? Let's grab this long stride spell real quick and go pay homage to the first place I went to test out my destruction spells the first time. I think that would be appropriate for a nice send-off to the last of our destruction spells for Arcanum. Okay, so we have Caster's Sigil. This is a buff, right? The sigil pops up letting you know it's there. Whenever I cast a spell, that you can see I'm shooting 2 darts. One of them is my Magicka Dart. The other one is actually coming from the Caster's Sigil. So you're doing extra damage in the form of an additional projectile that the Caster's Sigil buff launches. Keep in mind, Caster's Sigil can be collected with Octal's Recital from Apocalypse. So you can rig it so that you automatically cast Caster's Sigil whenever you enter combat. And that would give you an extra like 9 Magicka damage per shot, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's available as a novice level spell. So for a novice spell, suddenly being able to do 9 more damage basically doubles your damage output if you're starting out as a squishy little novice mage. So these 2 spells are novice level, which is why I am having trouble with a bandit thug. Let's just put you on a little timeout while I finish you off for this demo. And okay, so that gives us, let's see what's next. Magicka Flare, that's a depth level. This ought to have a bit more kick. An explosion of pure Magicka for 54 damage, plus 10% of your current Magicka as Magicka damage in a 15-foot radius. So this is interesting. I'm noticing a lot of these Magicka-based spells, they actually do more damage the more Magicka you have saved up. So it's more like you use this to start a fight when your Magicka is at full power, and then you'll switch to a different spell once your Magicka is low. Unless you're using like a drain or something to constantly keep your Magicka supercharged. Like if you're doing a run with High Elves using their Highborn ability so that your Magicka is constantly regenerating, then you could channel this puppy to just do oodles of damage because it would always be maxed because your Magicka would always be at full power, and then everything dies. Whoo, that is quite an explosion. Let's see if we can get a replay. Oh, okay, that first one must have been a regular bandit. This must be immortal. There we go. Very nice, very nice. So that gives us an explosion of Magicka at the melee range. And then I think there was one more, if I'm not mistaken. Ah, yes, Tri-Attack. I've actually seen this one in a couple different demos, but I haven't actually shot it myself yet. So let's find ourselves a nice hapless victim. Ah, you'll do. I'm going to dual wield it first and see what happens. Whoa, hello! Oh, very nice. Okay, so our Tri-Attack. Oh, that is cool. Do you see the triangle? I see the triangle. So it does... I should probably read the description, huh? That would probably be wise. Alright. Tri-Elemental, 15-foot radius explosion, 20 fire, 20 frost, and 20 shock damage to health and half to Magicka. Okay, very nice. So this is 60 damage in total, but it hits with all 3 elements. Very nice. Okay, so I think the best way to use this spell... See, some of these frost spells drop frost resistance, but if you pay attention, some of them I'm pretty sure actually dropped magic resistance. I'm going to scan through real quick and see if I can find one. There you go. So Frozen Maelstrom lowers their magic resist the longer that they're in it. So what you would do is hit them with Frozen Maelstrom that lowers their magic. This would lower their magic resist to all of the elements, to all magic, and then you hit them with Tri-Attack. So not only does the frost damage in Tri-Attack do more damage, but all of the elements hit harder because the longer they're in this, the lower their magic resist gets. Which I think is another... They did such a good job with this mod because all of these spells can interact with each other in really interesting ways. Like the buffs stack together. You don't necessarily want to use Frost with Fire, or Fire with only Fire, or Frost with only Frost, although there are a lot of perks that only do that. Actually, while we're on the subject, if you look up at Ordinator in the Destruction tree, there is actually a perk for this called Raw Power. So this actually magnifies any spell that doesn't do elemental damage, which I think is a really smart addition because the modder recognized that you have some spells like Magicka Flare that doesn't actually do elemental damage, and he actually threw in a couple of perks that could raise the damage of those kind of spells as well, which I think is, well, frankly, brilliant. Alright, oh, good times. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me on this dive into the Electric and Magicka-based destruction spells for Arcanum. Feel free to give the video a like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite spell from this video? I particularly liked realizing that the Tornado spell could be spammed. Suddenly I was Storm from the X-Men instead of a little mage, happily casting a single Tornado. We got like 7 of them going at one time. Oh, I love it. It was beautiful. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.